Thank you, Representative Blackburn. Representative HIMES, welcome.
Thank you, Chairman Goodlatte, Ranking Member Nadler, and distinguished colleagues. When I came to the Congress almost 10 years ago, I was overwhelmed by the privilege of working here. Even now, I can't quite shake the feeling that we serve in the shadow of people like Abraham Lincoln, Sam Rayburn, and Shirley Chisholm. Now I sit in front of this storied committee with a simple message: the truth matters. This committee shapes our courts. It oversees the enforcement of our laws. It balances our cherished liberties with our need for security. To this committee especially, the truth matters. Yet today, this committee meets to promote a false narrative. It meets to continue the hoax, now fully rebutted, that Facebook and other social media have mounted a deliberate crusade to filter out conservative opinion. Congress and this committee should look hard at Facebook. Over 2 billion people use it. The Kremlin used it to widen American fault lines before an election. It has personal data on all of us. People get their news from Facebook. That is huge power. That power must be constrained by fairness, care, and responsibility, and making sure that happens is our job. Congress and the social media companies must make sure they contribute positively to American life. Instead, today we will amplify the financially lucrative and politically convenient hoax that Facebook is purposefully censoring Diamond and Silk. Let's spend a minute on the facts. Diamond and Silk got into a complicated commercial dispute with Facebook about how you can make money on their site. Facebook mistakenly told them their content had been judged unsafe. Facebook publicly and privately acknowledged their mistake, apologized, and reached out to them by phone, on email, and on Twitter to work this out. And most importantly, as the charts next to me show, Diamond and Silk suffered no decline in their interactions online compared to such liberal sites as Rachel Maddow and the Young Turks. Mr. Chairman, I was in business for many years. Assuming that roughly half of Facebook users lean right, what possible business logic is there in alienating half of your customers? There is none. Those are the facts, and that is the truth, and the truth matters. The problem is this particular truth is pretty boring. A commercial dispute doesn't fire anybody up. It does not play into the carefully manufactured fear of the American right that everybody is out to get them. Never mind that the right controls the White House, both houses of Congress, more and more of the Supreme Court, and governorships all over America. Never mind Sinclair, never mind the global Murdoch news empire. The right must be under siege. Because if there is no siege, there is no fear, and there is no anger. And without fear and anger, well, people might not show up at the polls. Without fear and anger, people might ask themselves why we're mortgaging our children's future rather than improving their education. They might wonder why we haven't lifted a finger to shore up Social Security. They might realize that we've done absolutely nothing to rebuild our ports and our highways and our railroads. I was moved yesterday when President Macron of France spoke to us. From where I sat, you could look just past him and see the Marquis de Lafayette. Do you remember what he said? He said, "You can play on fear and anger for a time, but they do not build anything." Eventually, everyone will know that the charge that Facebook filters out conservative commentary is untrue, and that charge will go the way of Pizzagate and stand-down orders at Benghazi, of Obama wiretapping Trump and the Vince Foster murder, and all of these conspiracies that sprout around here like spring flowers. But in the meantime, we will have put one more dent in our democracy. Don't take it from this Democrat. Yesterday, Matt Mikowiak, a Republican consultant and a veteran of the Bush administration, wrote in the Washington Times, quote, "Our obsession with political theater has brought us to the point where now a respected and important House committee will spend several hours taking testimony from 2 YouTube celebrities, all done at taxpayer expense." President Macron said something else yesterday that sticks with me. He said, "Without truth, there is no real democracy, because democracy is about true choices and rational decisions. The corruption of information is an attempt to corrode the very spirit of our democracies." Mr. Chairman, Mr. Ranking Member, let's see past our differences. Let's see past the nonsense. Let's put past our differences to fight that corruption and that corrosion, because the truth matters. Thank you.
Also have Mark Zuckerberg emailing with Dr. Fauci about COVID, and in fact, a lot of their emails that we received have been redacted, not just because of phone numbers, but because they were trading trade secrets, things that they were, so a private company is communicating with the federal government, and parts of that were redacted. So that makes them, they're not immune anymore. They are not immune anymore. It was coercion, collusion, working together, and they cannot hide from the First Amendment. That's why this is so very, very important. Even Facebook's oversight board that Mark Zuckerberg created, the oversight board came back and said there were problems, and it lacked consistently being applied to everyone by community standards. So that's why this is so important for us, for our future, for all political parties, for all human beings around the world. We believe in the First Amendment, and America First policy